Six West is the world-leading provider of flight operation solutions. We assist our trusted clients in the aircraft leasing and airline industries by safely managing their assets throughout all phases of an aircraft transition. At Six West, meeting our clients' expectations is a given. We strive to exceed them. Based out of Dublin and with offices in Shannon and Cork, we're primed and ready to provide support for all of your flight operational needs. Six West, your trusted aviation partner.
All right, ladies and gents, we're live. We're almost 2 weeks out to the race, and all you guys are excited and scared and fearful, and all those wonderful emotions that we're going to see brimming up for the next 2 weeks before we get to the race course. Right, tonight, guys, is your last chance. It's last chance saloon. You have this last chance. Eileen is switching off her emails. Okay, she's been getting lots of questions. Some of them repetitive, some of them maybe not. But tonight is the last chance to actually get them replied to. So if you've anything that isn't clear, then now is the time. I hope you're on live, because Eileen will be on live to actually answer them. We will also have one or two other people. But firstly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring on someone that I've been in touch with for, I suppose, about 2 or 3 years, and has supported. We have some people coming on, ruining our live stream from up the country. So yeah, I'm going to bring on Olivier from Simult that we've been in touch with, the Kerry Way for I suppose the last 3 years. That he found out about the race and he really wants to come on board and support it. He learned about the ethos of the race, about Irish trail running, especially about the Kerry Way. So firstly, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you a little preview of a little. I know there are lots of Irish people using Simult products now. Okay, you guys know about them for the past year or two, and I asked one gentleman that I know is using lots of their products to just, can you give me a little, tell me what you're using and tell me what you think of them. So we have just a very brief little testimonial, and then we're going to get on to Olivia and learn a little bit more about the brand and learn a little bit why the Kerry Way. Okay, so just a very quick video here.
So this is the Simult Storm Pro series hardshell jacket. I've had this for about 2 years now, and it's usually my go-to jacket for any really bad conditions. So if I know the rain is going to be out for most of the day or the temperatures drop, this is usually the jacket I bring. So it's really well worn. It's pretty much bulletproof. So if you're looking to stay out of the elements, this is definitely a jacket to consider. So I predominantly used it for longer days in the mountains. Anytime I know I'm going to do a lot of climbing, that I need protection from the elements, that the weather is going to be really rough, usually bring this. It's about 320 grams. It folds up pretty small. I think it fits into its own pocket on the front, so it'll fit in a running pack.
Right, guys, that is a little testimonial from Michael Hogan, who everybody knows in Ireland. He runs all around the Irish trails, and he's coming this year to the Kerry Way, and he was just telling us about the Storm Pro, which I use a lot for terrible weather. As he said, it's bulletproof, as much of Simult's stuff are. Olivier, welcome to the live stream, and thank you for supporting the Kerry Way Ultra.
I'm really happy to be with you tonight, and really happy to support the race this year. We'll be here, the three people from Simult will be almost everywhere during the 3 days to have a deep look into the race. And once again, we are really happy to support the tremendous team that is organizing the race.
Very good. Do you want to give us a little bit of background into Simult? Because I know I've known about it for quite some years, because I have quite a few friends in alpinism, in the Vercors, and lots of places in France in the Alps. And I've always kind of known about the brand, but it was about 3 or 4 years ago when I knew that they were really getting into the trail running business. So do you want to give us a brief overview of where it all started?
Yeah, of course, with pleasure. Yeah, you've been telling it. We are coming from the Alps. We are at the foot of the Alps near the Vercors Massif. We are an old company born in 1964, coming from mountaineering, where we learned to manufacture very technical, sturdy products. Because when you are high in the mountains, for example, I'm in Chamonix at the moment for the UTMB this week, and you don't play with high mountain. When you're up there, you need uh, really good stuff, technical, answering all your needs. Waterproof but breathable at the same time, windproof, everything. So we have learned a lot from mountaineering, and then we came to hiking, trekking, traveling. And 5 years ago, because we met some good trail runners here in France, and they now belong to our elite team, we decided to go in trail running using all the products and all the technologies we were using in the mountaineering industry. Like for example, in the Storm Pro we just see the our waterproof membrane called Ultrashell, waterproof up to 20K, so which is quite a lot, and at the same time breathable at 80K, which is probably one of the most efficient of the market. So we are trying to propose products for everyone, from trail runners, trail running enthusiasts to experts, and we are really happy to be able to show our products on the Carriway Ultra this year.
Very good, very good. And yeah, just I mean, I got the Storm Pro before I went on the GR20. I think was it the year before last, and it was tough alpine conditions. And I tell you, it it was probably helped saving my life. You know, it was really tough alpine conditions, which I'm not used to. And because I wanted to do it light, okay, I needed something really light but tough. And I was up there with snow pickaxes and everything, and it's like, as Michael said, it's bulletproof. You know, so if you're going for anything like any of the tough races in the UK, Ireland in the winter time, it's like, you know, it's the perfect piece of equipment. So tell me, in more recent years, you started getting into trail running.
Yeah, exactly. 5 years ago, not more. We began with jackets because that's what we know to how to manufacture, and step by step, we developed some technologies. For example, for the two-in-one trail running shorts, or for the anti-blister socks. And 2 years ago, we came into the shoes industry, because some of our athletes had problems trying to move from a high drop to a low drop, and most of them were getting injured when trying to make that evolution. So we invented a concept with three insoles, which make it possible to step by step evolve from a high drop to a low drop for a faster stride. So yeah, each time we are developing products, we try to bring something on the market, because if it's only to produce a new product, actually there are so many brands on the market that it would be useful. Each time Simult is developing a new product, it is to help someone, or to break a technology, or something new. So that's the way we try to work.
Very good. There's lots of innovation going on there. You do lots of R&D in here in France, isn't it?
Definitely, all of the R&D is made in France, and for example, all our membranes are in-house membranes, which makes the prices more attractive, because it's the big brands, or everyone knows the big brands on the market. But if you try to work with those brands, you can manufacture very effective products, but very expensive products. And the idea was to propose products at attractive prices. That's also why we are only online, and we ship directly everywhere in Europe. You can't find Simult products on shops. It's impossible, but you can order very easily from Ireland, for example. And you've got the best of everything, because you've got the technology, you've got the prices. I think that's the future of the trail running market.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, and you put your finger on it there, the prices. Sometimes when I see, I go, oh my God, and you have sales a lot. And I say like 50% off the Storm Pro or whatever. I say, I mean, that's, crazy sometimes. But yeah, and I've announced that sometimes. So
it's the business model of most internet pure player, and that's good for the consumer, actually.
Yeah. But the quality is there. That's what I'm saying. The prices are attractive, but the quality, as I said, and Michael said, is really there. So tell me, Olivier, you're coming to Kerry this year. Unfortunately, you got COVID like 2 days before last year, so you had to pull out. Tell me firstly, how did you find out about Kerry? And, I know you guys are kind of coming into the UK and Irish market because it's something that you like, the kind of UK and Irish kind of trail running atmosphere. Can you tell us just about how you, I suppose, became aware of the Kerry Way?
I think that all came from a guy called Sean or something like that. No, I think we first met 2 or 3 years ago, and you told me that this event was one of the major events for in Ireland for trail running. So I tried to have a look at it, and once I had some feedbacks from runners, from people living in Ireland, they all told me that the countryside was awesome, that the organization team was awesome, and that this race was probably the most popular in Ireland and one of the most difficult. So that was the race to go in for a partner like us. As we said, we are only online. So if we want people to see the products, to touch the products, we need to be also on the field. And that's why we try to partner with important races. And I think that the Kerry Way Ultra is the one to be partnered with. So that's why.
Cool. So for the first time ever, you're actually going to get a flavor of what Kerry is really like this year. You'll be here for the whole race. You should be following around. You'll be driving around the Kerry Way, and you'll be checking it out. You'll be jumping in with me to actually give me your thoughts on Kerry, on the racers, on how things are going. How excited are you?
I'm really excited. First of all, because I would really love to see everyone wearing the t-shirts we have made this year for the event. I think we'll have great photos with all those colors and everything. And yes, I really wanted to see all starts, all arrivals, to go with you on the most attractive parts of the race. I'm really excited. I've been a few times in England, in Scotland, but never in Ireland actually. So I'm really happy to come over. And yes, we had some difficulties with the UK, as you know, for 2 years now because of the Brexit. It's quite difficult to sell there. But in Ireland, you're still in Europe, so it's really easy to order from Ireland. So we try to concentrate on this market now, and I know Eileen is live too, and everyone I've been meeting from I think 2 years now around the race have been so nice with us that I'm really excited to meet all those people.
Very good. Yeah, Eileen, you've just popped on there.
Yes, really looking forward to meeting you too, Olivier, in real life. It's great that you've taken the leap to work with us, and it'll be great for you to see the community ethos, to meet all the volunteers, to see the Kerryway in all its glory. It could be a storm, we could have heat stroke, probably both and everything in
Both.
between. So yeah, both. Yeah. So looking forward to seeing what you make of it.
Very good.
I'm really, I take the moment to thank you, because it's always a pleasure and an honor to partner with a big race like yours. So thank you so much. And we are, like my CEO says, we are an old lady. Simult is born in 1964, and when we partner with a race, we try to be partner for years. So I hope we will be able to make that road for some years together. And once again, thank you very much to welcome us.
No, we will welcome. We'll give you the usual Kerry welcome when you do land.
Yeah. And one thing, Olivia, you said you wanted to see the best parts of the course or whatever, and you're going to be around. I hope you have your trail running shoes on, because we're going to be getting out there and getting our shoes dirty. We're not going to be sitting behind technology. We're going to be getting out there, checking out the runners, and you will see the beauty of Kerry, the amazing beauty of Kerry. So bring your trail runners.
I always have them all on. I can't show you them now, but I have them on.
Very good, very good.
No, I'm really excited to come.
Superb. Olivier, you are in Chamonix. I know you've lots of stuff going on this week, so I'm not going to keep you any longer. We got lots of administration and questions to actually manage with the runners, but in about 12 days, we're going to see you in Ireland, and we're going to have lots of fun around the hills of Kerry. Okay?
Thank you very much. Stay strong for the 10 days, because I think that there is a lot to do. Once again, I'm looking forward to seeing you all.
Very good. Us too. And have a great week in Chamonix. Saving the best for last, obviously, coming to Kerry after Chamonix. So we'll see you in Ireland.
Great. Thank you again, Sean. Bye-bye, Eileen. Bye-bye, everyone.
Happy Anto.
Right. Excuse me. I'm just struggling with technology. Let me get 1, 2, 3. We have Barry Drennan coming from up the country just to give us a little take on his excitement. The excitement is brimming for a little bit distorted, his camera, but that's all right once your voice is okay. Who will be on here to I suppose, add to Eileen's answers. So guys, this is called a Q&A, which I suppose you understand is we answer questions. However, firstly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Eileen. She's a big sheet. I suppose you already have questions, or else you already have lots of stuff you just want to talk about. So do you want to take it away, Eileen?
Great. These are just what have been coming up in emails recently. Most of them have already been answered, but I just said I'll go through them to reiterate how important they are. First thing, and the most the question I've been asked most often is, are maps really needed? Everybody's talking about GPX and Strava, etc. Yes, maps are essential. They will be checked on the mandatory kit, and you have to have them. Now, a photocopy of the map on the website is not suitable. You need to have the OSI maps. The reason why GPXs are all well and good, but they may be out of date. Chances are they are out of date. The maps are the most up-to-date route, and GPXs, watches, phones, everything can die through photographs, calls, whatever. You need to have a map as backup. Okay, again, for the ultra competitors, when you start on Friday morning, you follow the Kerryway route through the national park, which is quite a narrow route with tree trunks and roots, etc. When you're coming home for the finish on Sunday, and this is for all events, you can go any way through the national park once you're in the national park. When you come down Torque, you go under the tunnel that brings you into National Park, and then turn right. Keep the lake on your left, and that will bring you back into town. So just any way through the National Park on the way back, but not on the road. You have to be in the National Park until you get out onto the road when the National Park finishes. The Kerryway, again for ultra competitors, the Kerryway goes both ways around Loch Coos. Both are correct, but the south route is safer. The north route has quite a big distance on the road, and it's a very, very fast road. So the south route is safer. Also, coming down from Canoeig, I think Sean has a photograph he'll probably show us later. When you come down from Canoeig, you will come to a double signpost. One says Kerryway 12 kilometres to the right. The other says Kerryway 17.2 kilometres to the left. Obviously, the 12 and a half is the shorter route. So take the short route. You can take the long route if you want, but the other one is the shorter route. Also, for all athletes, the Kenmare Cruise Stop is now in the Skull in Fishgane, which is beside the church, opposite the municipal toilets. Excuse me. And this is for all events. Very important to remember that the Kerryway is owned by somebody. It's National Park, Cuicha, landowners, etc., etc. And it's only through the goodness of these people that we can use it. So I am asking, begging, pleading with everybody, close the gates. Even if there's a gate open and there is somebody 10 yards behind you, close the gate. And they can open it themselves. Most gates have stiles. Very, very few gates now have no stiles. But please close gates and don't litter. As I say, it's only by the goodness of these people that we can use it. So it's very important. There's bad phone coverage at Derryconaghy for the Ultra and at Glencar. So just in case your tractor or your phone isn't working, it will come back in over a few minutes. This is also for ultralight, ultranight, ultra relay. Because you come through Derryconaghy on the way home. Please send me your crew numbers. If you have them, the sooner you can get them to me, the easier it is. Dot watching, have somebody watch your dots. We have almost 500 people. We can't watch everybody, no matter how many of us. So please have somebody watch your dots overnight as well. It's not just a daytime pastime. They need to watch you at nighttime as well. Water, we will have water at the cruise stops. Some cruise stops have indoor taps. If they don't, we will have containers. Now, again, just you will have to have water in your mandatory mandatory kit, but just there will be water at the cruise stops. The simple thing is follow the yellow man. He's right. Your GPS, whatever might be telling you otherwise, but the yellow man is right. If there is any changes, if there's tree felling, access issues, the signs are always changed. So the yellow man will be right. Now it's the yellow man, the Kerryway yellow man. It's not the Cahir Daniel, Cahir Sabine, Sneem way. It's the yellow man for the Kerryway. And something I just listened to on Sean's last podcast, don't follow the person in front of you, because don't just presume that they know where they're going. Run your own race. The Brian Byrne Award for the best crew, please, if you have a crew, let them know about it. This is new to this year. It'll be very interesting to see, because I know there's some amazing crews out there. I only hear about them, but I know the marshals, the assistant race directors, volunteers, everybody can report back on what they see is really exceptionalism crewing, good or bad. Face masks, you can bring them if you want. They're not mandatory, but you can bring them if you want. And that's me done. On you go, Barry.
Wow.
Hi, Eileen. How's it going?
Fine.
Very good, very
How's
good.
everybody? Hi, Shawnee.
Right. If anybody's any questions, drop them in the comments. Because we'll be going off in a few minutes. So now is the time. It's not next week. Barry, we're 2 weeks out.
Hi, Shawnee.
People are getting nervous. There's lots of excitement for this year in particular. Can you feel it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. There's a few of the strong contenders back as well to put their mark on it as well. So it's it's looking forward to it. And the great weather we've had, I would imagine. I haven't been out there since the recce. I did the night recce with the gang, and it was wet. But after the dry weather we've had, I'd say the course will be fast and dry, and it should be if the weather holds out anyway, it should be lovely up there. Yeah.
Big time. And we have a race review coming this year, a male and a female race review for the ultra anyhow, and we're trying to do one for the light and the night. But an in-depth race review so that the top runners will know the other top runners, because I know there's a bit of kind of tell me who are the top runners, because there are a few people coming from abroad, and I think people want to know who's going to be pushing it out front. So we've been doing a lot of research there. We got a few questions coming through right from Caught. Let me see if I can display that, if it'll display. Right. Is it the short route to Caherdaniel from Waterville through the Red Piers, not the Derrynan Mass Path?
I presume it's you're talking about Waterville to Caherdaniel is the coastal route. I know the Derrynan Mass Path is not the Kerry Way, that's the Derrynan Way.
It's very well marked, that route. We did that in the recce, so it is very well marked. The only bit you have to be careful is actually, well, for the night runners and the ultra runners, where you come from Mastergeehy and you come up towards the ridge, where you follow the ridge down into Waterville, be very conscious when you climb over the sign. When you climb over the stile just after Mastergeehy, there's a post which is right in your line of direction, which will draw you, which basically says Caherdaniel. And be careful of that one, because there is a sign there on the stile which says Waterville via the ridge. Be really careful about that one, to take the ridge, because that's what brings you down into Waterville. But it's very easy. As you climb over the stile, you'll see a post. So if the post says Caherdaniel and you haven't been to Waterville yet, you're going wrong. Go back.
I think, Barry, is this the point up here?
Yes, exactly there, Shawnee, yeah. Where you will come up the ridge, and then I think that's it anyway, but
yeah,
definitely you have to follow along the top of the ridge. I would have thought the line should go along there you go, back the way,
yeah.
Because the Kerry Way splits at that point, yeah.
Yeah, and I actually, unfortunately, in my haste about 2 years ago, got lost there. I went down there and came off way down onto this road, and then I had to come way back up here, and lost like a load of time. So please beware. It's better just to stop and actually take things in and reflect upon things rather than going too fast, because then you can lose half an hour to an hour. That's for any runner. You're up at the front, you're mid-pack, you're at the back. It's all important for everybody. Right. So we have a few more questions coming through. Let me see. Max Parnson. What was the name of that lake we could go north or south of? But one way was a busy road.
Loch Coos. I'd recommend you go south.
South. Very good. Claire McCarthy is asking, for ultra light, do you have to bring pants and gloves?
I can't. What is it? Do we have to bring what?
Pants and gloves, like the waterproof pants.
Yeah, mandatory kit is the same for every event, bar the ultralight don't need to bring a head torch. Otherwise, it's exactly the same. It's an insurance issue. That's one of the main reasons that I keep getting insurance, is because we are so strict on our rules, safety, etc. So yes, the only thing the lights don't need to bring is the head torch.
Very good. Okay. Question from Colm O'Shaughnessy, if it'll appear here. Can you use the public shops for nutrition at the stops?
Absolutely, yes. We're delighted to bring business to any of the local communities. Spend all you want.
Yeah, there's a great chipper. Where's that chipper, Barry?
Sneem has a lovely chipper now. Unfortunately, most people, it'll be closed unless you're really quick. There's also takeaway in Waterville, as far as I remember. Eileen, you'd know if that's still open, is it?
Yes, again, it'll be time wise. There's a good chipper in Waterville, a good chipper in Caherdaniel, and a good chipper in Sneem as well too. Yes, yeah, there are 3 very good chippers.
Cool. Right.
Put it this way: if you get to Sneem in time to go to the chipper, you probably won't take the time to go to the chipper.
Yes, very good. Question from Stephen. Reminder of where water stations are for ultralight other than Kenmare.
Only Kenmare, Stephen. They only stop for the ultralights. The only drop bag stop. Now, if you are going through Temple No, there is a tap in the graveyard, which is perfectly clear water, and that is it is a cruise stop. If the ultralights want to stop in there, it isn't a drop bag station, but there is water in the graveyard, which is right. It's only about maybe 10 meters from the road.
Very good.
There'll be volunteers there as well with some emergency water also, and I'm sure there'll be a few bits and pieces, but you do need to bring everything you need. But you won't be seen stuck if you don't have it. But generally, it shouldn't be. It's not a massive distance to Kenmare from there anyway, So.
Mm-hmm. Question from Sam. Are there any shower facilities at the finish?
Well, there's Roscastle is just about a kilometre away, just down at Loughlin. Meeting up with the race course management hopefully tomorrow, and I should have a lot more answers facilities available at finish. And if there is any major changes, I'll be sending it in the final email with the race numbers. Hi, Sam.
Great. Question from Conor O'Neill. Lord Brandon's cottage isn't a cruise stop, but is there water tap there, or do we need to put something in drop bag?
Lord Brandon's is a cruise stop. It's just not available for cruise. Every athlete can have a drop bag that will be brought into Lord Brandon's. So if you have water in your drop bag, there will also be water there also.
Very good. Okay, I'm just reading ahead. Rory O'Donovan, confirming the bag drop and check-in on Thursday at separate locations. If we only have the one bag for Lord Brandon's, is there an option to drop later than 5 p.m. if our check-in isn't until later that evening?
Hi, Rory. No, the only time for drop bags for just one, if you have a crew, which is the one for Lord Brandon, it's only between 4 and 5 in the race course. It's just not physically possible to have people staying in the race course or whatever. We need all hands on deck. So it's only between 4 and 5 in the race course on Thursday evening. Great questions.
Yeah, great questions. Rory, no, I'm just thinking, come early, drop it off.
I think just to cover that earlier question there, that about the bringing water. Generally, it's just advisable to put in a couple of bottles, maybe it's a litre bottle of water or whatever, in your drop bag, just to be self-sufficient. Now, it's unlikely that we would run out of water, but if it's very hot, and especially not at Lord Brandon's cottage, but even for the light runners and that, there's probably the guts of 500 people going to be going through the later checkpoints. And if it is a really hot day and, we're lashing through the water, just be on the safe side. Put your own bottle of water, maybe a 2-litre bottle of water, or your own drink mixes or whatever into your drop bags. And at least you're sorted, you're self-sufficient. And even if you have a crew, sometimes it's not a bad idea to have a little small drop bag with something in it for whatever reason. If your crew get lost, or if if for whatever reason there's a mix-up, which does sometimes happen, where somebody throws their bag in the wrong box. So it's no harm to have a little drop bag with with what you need in it, even if you have a crew.
Yes, very good. Stephanie in Wright is asking, any tips for minding the feet and keeping them in good nick? That's Barry, do you want to hit that?
My go-to has always been, like, I wear just normal kind of working socks, or like hiking socks really, but I literally get Vaseline, a big scoop of Vaseline, and shove it all around my toes, down around your heel and stuff like that. I think Vaseline is amazing, and I in all the Kerryways, I think I got one blister in 2016 because I changed my socks and shoes in Kenmare. I hadn't had one blister, but I never put Vaseline on my other socks. So what I do now is a little tip. Even if I put spare socks in my drop bags, I just put Vaseline into the toe box of my sock, or just put the sock on your hand and dip it into the Vaseline like that and turn it inside out. So if you put your socks on, then if you change your socks in the middle of the race, you have Vaseline in them. But that's definitely just, I know everybody's different, and there's all sorts of different socks. I hear the guy from Simult, talking about blister-free socks, so they might be worth a try. But in my experience, just a big lump of Vaseline all around your toes, your heel, or any of the spots where you normally might blister up, and it works for me. And as I say, put it in your spare socks also.
Yeah, again, everybody's different. I personally won't change my shoes or socks throughout any ultra event, especially less than 40 hours, because I just don't want to see them, because taking them off might just kind of irritate them. But again, at this stage, Stephanie, I would hope you've been through maybe the recce and those terrible conditions or those bad conditions, and you kind of have been experimenting maybe yourself. But again, ask around, because somebody has a solution. But Vaseline, as Barry says, is great. Right, we got lots more coming up. Will there be toilet facilities at crew stops?
Mostly. Lord Brandon's, probably not. All of the community centres are open. Kenmare is just across from the municipal toilets. So I'd say Lord Brandon's is probably the only one.
Very good.
And Temple No.
And Temple No. Where can you pick up maps, and which ones? I think you posted the actual picture on the Facebook and Instagram. Was it yesterday, the day before?
Yep.
Yeah. And can they still be? Sorry?
No, I was just asking Claire which event?
Yeah. Claire, can you let us know which event? I would assume the Ultra, but so into Port West in town, and check out the Facebook feed. The pictures of the actual maps are on there. We have another question from Stephen. I'm staying in Killarney on Friday night and will be getting the coach to Sneem on Saturday morning. Where do I hand my drop bag?
All in the email, Stephen. You bring them with you. You bring them with you on the coach, and there will be boxes in Sneem, and you can put them in there, and then those boxes will be transferred to Kenmare.
Very good. Another question from Rory. Can our crew park anywhere in Waterville? Can you also run through how the Temple No crew stop will work with the GA club, etc.?
Good question. Yes, the crew stop in Waterville is in the Lobster Bar. Waterville won't be too busy first weekend in September, and it's on the main street. There should be loads of parking. Also, the Temple No crew stop with the GAA, the kind gesture from Temple No GAA to let us use their car park. If you have a crew, they will be watching your dots, And when they see that you're coming through the Drumore Wood area and that you're close to Temple No, it's up to them to come up and meet you at the graveyard car park. There will be marshals there that when you land, when your crew lands, they will be moved down to the GA pitch if the graveyard car park is busy, and it's up to them to be watching you and to come up when you're getting close.
Yeah, both of them. Waterville is very easy to come across your crew because they just parked along the main street. So really, when you come into Waterville, you'll come down the road and you'll turn left onto the Strand Road, if you like, or along the promenade. And there's cars usually parked both sides of the road, but just keep running down along, and you will come along your crew along that road. Temple No, when you pop out of the woods onto the road, you'll turn right. And then again, you're just keeping an eye out for the marshals, and they'll be able to direct you to the crew stop. But it's quite easy. It's very hard to look at it on the map and all that. But when you just follow the route and you come out onto the road for Temple No, you'll definitely come along a marshal. And in years past, anyway, you know, with your head torch, you'll have a big yellow jacket reflecting back to you anyway. And they have often had like a flashing light or something, like a red flashing light or something up there. But again, it's pretty easy to come. Once you get to the marshals, you should be able to find your crew all right.
Yeah, I think this is the point we're talking about, actually. We come out of the right here, we hit the main road,
Yeah.
and then it's down here, isn't it? Just before we turn up left.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, lovely. Okay. Yeah, other than that, Claire McCarthy says the race she is doing is the ultra light, so those maps that she was talking about relate to the ultra light.
78 and 84, and the Facebook post gave the phone number for Port West, who have them all in stock, and the Facebook post will tell you, Claire, exactly what maps, but it's 78 and 84.
Very good, very good. Yeah, we've lots of people watching, guys. If you've any questions whatsoever, as I said on the post, no question or almost no question is too silly. I'm sure somebody will pop in there with some outrageously silly question. Can you share that Google map link with us that you have on screen? That's Google Earth. I've imported GPX into Google Earth, so you can look at that on Google Earth. You can import GPX and play around with it so that you can kind of get a feel for the route. Because I know lots of people are using Strava and whatnot, and that's all well and good, but when you can really visualize it in 3D and kind of really zoom in, then you can get a feel for it, certain particular places that you may be unsure about. So you just need to jump onto Google Earth, really. Yes. Let me see. Right. So do we have any other questions? Right. A few more coming through. Okay. Can you do this solo with no crew and just your drop bags? I take it the personal bags will be at the crew stops. Yes, Dave. I've done it 1 or 2 years with 0 crew and almost 0 drop bags, with maybe 1 or 2 drop bags. So you can do it pretty on your own. Am I right there, Eileen?
Yeah.
Absolutely, Dave, and welcome on board. Yes, your drop bags are your responsibility, so it's up to you to put what you think you're going to need for each area. As in, you have to be conscious of nighttime. Do you need a fleece or whatever? Dave is just one of our newest entrants. So yes, there's a lot of thinking to get your drop bags right. And it's your responsibility to put them into the right boxes. They'll be well marked. So yeah, it's as much fun getting your drop bags right as it is running.
Yeah, and it can be pretty critical.
Yeah, no, for sure. If you're doing it solo, yeah, you want to think about things like a spare pair of socks and just little things that you might need along the way. I have seen some people doing the solo and they have a suitcase at every checkpoint with a full change of clothes and like, you know, it's just too much. But So you don't. I wouldn't go over the top. Shawnee, when he was, I was crewing it one year. I remember I was doing the checkpoints. I remember Shawnee had two bottles looked like one was Lucasade and a double decker strapped to it with a bit of sellotape. That was all Shawnee needed at every checkpoint. But it's definitely no. If you're doing it solo, it's very, very possible. It's not. A lot of people don't need a crew. In some cases, I've only had crew in the last one or two checkpoints, because sometimes a crew will, in a way, it slows you down a little bit. You know what I mean? You have somebody to maybe feel sorry for you for a bit. So it's no harm having no crew, but as long as you put all the water, all the food you'll need in every bag, and some small things, you're not likely to be changing your clothes. Maybe it's a good thing in Foilmore to have an extra layer, maybe a change of socks, because you're heading up into the hills and it's often at the night time. Maybe spare batteries for your head torch, that kind of thing. So you do, like Eileen said, need to think about the checkpoints and the time of day and stuff like that. But really, it's very, very doable. There's nothing to worry about. And when there's volunteers at each checkpoint, and they will have some emergency bits and pieces, food and stuff like that. So in some years also, where the odd time where somebody's drop bag has gone missing, when a runner leaves, they often leave a few bits of food behind them as well. So it's not strange that there'll be a couple of bars, and if as long as they're not precious, you'll be fed and watered at the checkpoints, even if your gear didn't turn up for whatever reason. But Eileen's right. If you really clearly mark your bags and be very conscious of where you drop them in, because every year there's a Foilmore bag in Waterville and vice versa. So just take a little bit of time for your drop bags, but no problem to do it solo, yeah?
Great. Karen, again, first timer ultra night. In case of emergency, is there a number we can contact?
Well, I'm presuming everybody has my number, because I'll be dot watching. There will be dot watchers, and if somebody is looking, like if they haven't moved for a while, if they're gone way off the route, again, Karen, I would really, really stress have somebody watching you for the full 25 hours. But I have my number on your phone anyway.
Yeah, normally, like definitely Eileen is the first port to call. I think if you are in an emergency, I've had to call Eileen at 3:30 in the morning myself, and she answered. So definitely call Eileen, and then she'll be able to alert whoever's the nearest volunteer or whatever to see if they can give you a hand out. But without a shadow of a doubt, put Eileen's number in your phone before you start the race.
Great. A question from Max. Can he sleep in his van at the start and finish?
Absolutely. There should be loads of parking at the racecourse.
Right. We have a question, Fergal, the same that was asked earlier on. The map I'm showing online, good GTX. I'll make a post about that in our Facebook group, just what I'm using, Google Earth, and how I'm using it, etc., so that you guys can check that out if you want.
It's a good. I think it's a good bit of advice, Shawnee. I don't know if you're. It's very hard to get a GPX that's covering every single bit of the route. So, where I would say a GPS for me, it was essential anyway, because even though the most of it's well signposted, there is the odd time where you can come up to one post and there's no sign of the other one. Might be in behind a bush or whatever. So the GPX downloaded onto any GPS device is brilliant to have, but just be aware that it's very hard to get one that's covers the whole 200 kilometers exactly as is. So follow the signs as your first main port of call, but have the GPS there just as a backup.
Very good. Colin, are there yellow man signposts at every major turn?
I think there's probably yellow men signposts every 100 meters for most of the route. There's I don't think there is any excuse to go wrong in daylight if you're walking. It's just that if nighttime you're tired, you can be maybe head down watching your feet. So that's why just be aware, and there are yellow men signposts everywhere. Barry,
Right.
Sean, what do you think about
Yeah,
that?
yeah, like not like definitely all the major junctions. Like it's you know, I've been around a lot of it over the last couple of years, and definitely any kind of major junction, they're well marked, and they're either a yellow man sign or they're like a brown Kerryway sign. You just do have to be careful in the, as I say, the nighttime. Kind of coming into Waterville, I find sometimes the ridge can be a little bit difficult. You might get to one post, and it can be a little bit easier actually in the dark, because there's a reflective, all the posts for that section, and you have that reflective thing on them. When your torch shines on it, it reflects, so it's actually easier to see it in the dark. In the daylight, it can be a little bit difficult to pick out the odd post, but definitely I'll say the ridge going into Waterville, if you're leaving one post, you would really want to try and get the next one in your sight. And the time we were doing the recce, it was really foggy, and there was one or two that were really hard to see, and that's where the little GPS does come into its own, where you can maybe have a look and see, are you following a straight line from the post behind to the one you're going to? So just that's one area where you really have to have your wits about you, and hopefully fog is the only thing that could become an issue for that. But generally there's pretty much yellow posts through it all.
Yeah, and what you said there, Barry, have your wits about you, because you know it's nighttime. There may be a bit of mist or rain or whatever. I've gotten lost and I know the route. Maybe I was being too competitive or whatever, but I didn't have my wits about me, you know. And there were yellow men there, so you just got to have your wits about you and try and stay focused.
And if you've gone so long, I think the biggest, we've all done it. Barry Hartnett, when he was milling through it there a few years back, there was a van parked in his way at one of the major junctions, and he missed the signpost and ran off. But he had gone maybe a kilometre, and then, which he was right to do. Now, we phoned him at that time also, and he turned around, but he had copped it. So if you're running for more than 500 meters and you haven't seen another post, it's likely you have gone wrong. You know, I think it's rare to have any distance, maybe more than that. So if you're gone a couple of kilometers and you haven't seen a sign, go back, turn around and go back.
Cool. Okay, Claire's asking, any point in using poles for the ultra when you're not really used to them? If you've never used them and you're going for the light, which means you have a certain amount of kilometers in your legs, I possibly wouldn't. No, you're not going to test out new stuff on the day. What do you think, Barry?
Like even in the light, you know, maybe I'm a big wimp, but I've used poles for the second half of it, because when you have them in your hand and you look at the hill coming out of Kenmare, you know, you'd be glad you have them. So, like, to be honest with you, they can be a bit of a flipping hindrance. If you've never used them before, you've 2 weeks, get out and go for a couple of runs and use them, because they are, even to learn how to use them, you don't hold them tight like this. You actually have them loose in your hands and use the straps. So have a look at a few YouTube videos, get out and use them. Did she say she's doing the light or the ultra?
The light.
The light. Yeah, as I say, I've left them in my drop bag, or with my crew in Kenmare, and I was glad. I know you're not meant to leave them in the drop bags, but my crew had them in Kenmare, and I was really happy to have them, because you know, even though there's only a few climbs in it, they just, I find poles slow you down a little bit, but actually they do take a load off your legs, so you're sharing the load between your arms and your legs, so they're definitely a benefit. But as I say, you know, you're in your taper now, take out the poles and go for a couple of runs, and I think there's no harm having them in your bag, put it that way, you know.
They're not mandatory, so it's up to you entirely, Claire. I will say that poles, I've asked everybody, if you're using poles, to be conscious at the start of each event that there may be just a bunch of people trying to get their rhythm. So just to be careful at the start to not be spearing people with your poles. But they're not mandatory. It's up to you entirely what you do with them, or whether you use them.
Yeah, but even from Sneem, if you're doing the light, you won't need them until Kenmare anyway. You know, and again, for certain parts of it, they'll be a bit of a hindrance. You'll end up carrying them for a lot of it. So You know, if they're not necessary, but if you're you know, going to be taking kind of 6, 7, 8 hours, whatever, to do it, you know, they're not bad. They are an advantage if you're doing a lot of hiking.
Cool. A question from MC: possible to sign up for the bus transfer Killarney to Sneem for the ultralight? Is it still possible?
Yes, I'll email you in the morning about it, MC. Yep, yeah, no hassle.
Okay. 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 Stephanie is not going to use them. I assume they're talking about the poles. I've done the courses she can manage without. Okay, superb. But yeah, it's all about what you're used to. Otherwise, if you do use them on the day, then prepare to have your whole upper body very, very sore the days afterwards. Sorry if asked already. Late to the party, the drop bags. Are we given a plastic box? And this box follows us around. I'm doing the ultra no crew, so relying on drop bags. No, Paul, you're given nothing. You have to come with your own bags, and they don't follow you around. Okay, each one is dropped off at the crew stop or the checkpoint, and you only have access to that bag.
Don't bring a plastic box. Just bring a small waterproof bag with your race number and your name and the crew stop on it. There will be plastic boxes at the race course, Paul, on Thursday between 4 and 5. It's up to you to put your bag into the correct box. Email me tonight about this if you need more information.
Yeah, separate bags for each. Definitely, there won't be. It's not possible to have someone follow you around the race. So separate bags for each crew or checkpoint.
Very good. I've just put online a comment from Paul Toomey, who's been through the race quite a few different times, who's kind of summed up quite a few points to actually to keep in mind for getting lost. So be sure to read Paul Toomey's comment below. Do you have any recommendations for additional battery life for phone?
Phone, like you know, normally you should only be using your phone for calling in an emergency. Don't use that as your GPS because it's quite likely your battery's going to run out. So in the past, I would just have my phone and make sure all your apps and all that are turned off because it's not you don't want to be draining your battery. You don't want to have it on airplane mode either because, you know, you don't want to find yourself 5 kilometers in the wrong direction and people are trying to call you. So you do need to have your phone on. If you're like me and your phone is a busy work phone and it rings all day long, get the loan of a phone or, you know, go down and get yourself a burner down in the garage, you know, get a cheap phone, a Nokia phone or something like that, and just put in Eileen's number and your crew numbers and all that, because you do hear it, and I've had it, like you're heading out the Muckross Road and next to your phone is ringing and it's some Egypt looking for you for an appointment or something like that. So it's great if you can I used to borrow my kid's phone as well. So, you know, get a phone, even if it's a cheap Nokia phone or something like that. But don't use your phone for the GPS. It's so you need to keep or just head torches.